within 2 minutes, you get a defensive stop, long special teams play, and then a touchdown.
Yeah, I thought we put our defense in a couple of really bad spots during the game, and they responded. I thought by and large we put them in a tough spot there with the fumble, and we did a couple of things, that they had a little bit of adversity, at least from a mental standpoint, that they would have to deal with, and I thought they responded pretty well. And I think by and large, our tackling will be indicative of how we play. I think if we can stay focused on tackling, particularly when you get in these kind of games, the way it's being played, I think that'll be a huge part of whether we're successful or not, because this is how you saw the game tonight, by and large, is how the game is being played. So I hope that answers your question.
But how important is it within 2 minutes, you've got 7 points on the board?
Yes, I think that's important. I think when you can score in bunches, no matter how you get them, special teams, defense, offense, that's always great. I think what we're trying to focus on is how we play defensively when we respond to things from a negative standpoint, or when things go well. Are we going to have a letdown? Are we going to keep the gas pedal on? Are we going to really push forward? And those are some of the things that we kept trying to push in there and discuss and reinforce tonight. And I think we've got some stuff to build on. Obviously, we have a couple things. I thought in the second quarter, I didn't think we were as sharp as we were in the first quarter. And so I thought we could do better than what we did.
It seemed like Gabe Cruz and Chris Patterson were both absent from the sideline. Anything on their status?
No, Chris Patterson won't be with us this year, and Gabe wasn't with us today. I anticipate him being back.
With the way last season ended, how important was it for the defense just to come out and play well from a confidence standpoint?
I think it was important. One of the things that we could have done is we could have kept the starters in the whole game to try to preserve the shutout, but I don't think we'd get our team any better. So I told the coaches and the players that as much as we want to shut them out, and I do, trust me, I think I want to also get a lot of players exposed to how we want to play, and I think that's one of the things that we gave up a couple yards, gave up a couple plays like that, and now at least we have those on tape where we can confirm with the player exactly how we want to do it next time, and we were able to do it with a pretty decent outing from both a run and passing standpoint.
You had several drives in the first half, I think, in particular. You kept it 8-10 plays, and you went 70, 80 yards. How pleasing is that?
It is pleasing. I didn't, at halftime, the time of possession was basically even. And I told the coaching staff and the players at halftime that I was pretty confirmed that what they were attempting to do was really keep the ball as much as they could, stay in the game, do whatever it was, and try to frustrate us. And what we couldn't try to do is just get into one of these deals where you just want to score so quickly to put the game away before it's time that you end up going out and playing erratically. And I thought the play caller and the players showed very good discipline to not get involved in that or lured into that kind of thinking. And so it wasn't as fun to score in bunches as sometimes as you like, throughout the game, if you have the opportunity or have a lot of big plays. But to be where we need to do is we need to work on being a more consistent team in all facets, and I thought we took a step in that direction, but we'll have to come back next week and prove it.
A couple more questions, guys.
But the discipline aspect, you guys didn't have a lot of penalties tonight, especially for the majority of the game. So you get a little animated about certain things there. Can you talk about that a little bit, about these penalties and I guess your emotions on the sideline?
Well, I think from a penalty standpoint, the penalties and the turnovers and the sacks and all those negative things that can occur in a game, all they do is erode the tempo of the game. You got a nice little tempo in the game going. We're not killing it on the punt returns and we get a penalty for blocking in the back. It just kills the tempo of the game as it's going. And last year we had an awful outing against Auburn. I think we had 16 penalty, whatever, we were penalized there. So we clearly didn't want to get into that. We haven't really talked as much about it as you might think, only from the standpoint.
I guess animating us up during camp and everything. It looks like you're really spending a lot of energy on the sideline tonight.
Well, it's been a long time since we've won, and I was very anxious to have a chance to win again and to have a good season. And the way I've been taught to coach is that the scoreboard doesn't determine how hard or how long you coach. It's a teachable moment for the players, and I think for many of them, as I said before, coaches love practice. We think we can get our point made into practices and and it makes sense. But sometimes in the game, it's the right time to get their attention to say, okay, this is exactly what we need to do again, or we can't allow this to happen the next time. And so I'm hopeful that I was able to be demonstrative enough to make that point.
What was the motivation behind lining up being a defensive tackle? A couple of times, you put him on the inside, no loop on the outside.
Once again, we're very multiple. We line up people all over the place, and I know Mark declared that we were 4-3 defense, and he was out ahead of the curve. I just heard about that recently. It's awesome. We'll promote more of that. That's fine. We play in a lot of. We try to put people in a position to be able to make a play, to get a matchup. If you ever have a chance to look at some of the game tape or stuff, we've got people lined up in a lot of different places. But I think that kind of versatility is what we were missing last year. The previous year we had some of that, and we were able to introduce players into the game. And Antoine Moore was able to be introduced to our defense in a couple different packages. And when you have a player who has some decent abilities and talents, you know that the other team is game planning them. So you have to be able to move them around, and I think that's what you're referring to, and that's what our plan was.
Hit Old Hall also, I think, been down. And then some, as he,
At times, yes,
Yeah.
he was standing up plenty, and then we had him in a bunch of different positions. We'll try to continue to do that. We're trying to be very multiple. I know it's maybe I don't see it as such a big deal, but it's just, I think with the way people are playing, you have to be able to put your best players in positions to take away certain things or to make sure that you can cover certain things. Okay, anybody else? Thanks.